And we are back here in the Concord TV studio. I'm Concord TV's Executive Director, Josh Hardy. And if you noticed, this is one of our first programs with our new broadcast news desk, which has a couple of cool different tabletop options. Our staff has been getting to use it. And we're really excited that for our first community conversations at this new set, we have folks from the Mayhew Program who have driven in here to tell us about this really great statewide program. I'm joined by Greg, Peter, and Laura. Thank you guys for coming in. Is this your first time at the Concord TV studio?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Well, we're so glad to have you guys and to help amplify the great work that you are doing. So I don't know, maybe Peter, if this would be for you, but could you give us just a background of the Mayhew program? This has been going on for a long time. On the website, I saw that the history of this dates back even, very far. Give us just an overview of the whole program for us.
Sure. Josh, and again, thanks for having us here. We're excited to be here to spread the word of Mayhew. So Mayhew became a 501c3 in 1969, but our roots actually go back to 1893, where a school from northern Massachusetts decided that they wanted to embark on a program to serve kids who were less fortunate. And so they started a small camp on one of the lakes in New Hampshire, Squam Lake. And then in 1969, we split away from that school and formed our own nonprofit. And our operations are centered in Bristol, New Hampshire on Newfound Lake. We exist to get boys to believe in themselves, work well with others, and to find their best. And really, in a nutshell, we believe in boys before they believe in themselves. Our roots are in an educational organization, and we really like to use the classroom, nature's classroom, to really instill the values that we believe to be important.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful location up there at Newfound Lake. It's such a great place to be outdoors and to explore. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more, Greg, about the actual, the camp and up there at Newfound Lake. How does that kind of program work? And kind of for folks, we're going to put some pictures up that we were sent so that folks can see for themselves what it looks like. But kind of describe what the program's like and what a summer might look like or what a program might look like there.
Sure. Yeah. So we build relationships with local schools and social service agencies, and they're our eyes and ears, and they refer boys to the program. We go through, we screen those referrals and invite boys out to be part of the program. And the boys' introduction to Mayhew is a 3-week camp experience on Mayhew Island. So like you said, a pretty special and unique opportunity for the boys and for the staff to be out there for the summer. The summer camp is, it's an active place, outdoors. We play, sports, we do day hikes, it's sort of have a traditional camp setting. I think the unique part for us is twofold. One, the boys come and they become part of these cabin groups. And instead of choosing their activities every morning and going out and doing different stuff, they're part of this cabin group from day 1 through day 22. And they enjoy the successes with that cabin group, but they also have to kind of work through the challenges that happen as well. So that's pretty neat. And then the other aspect is we really take time to talk about what went well, what we can do better. So maybe after an activity, the group sit down and they have discussions. They have debriefs. They talk about, what went well, what they can take from that to do next time in that same activity or in a different activity, or potentially how can they, individually and collectively be better next time at that activity.
So for boys, there's a lot of oftentimes social emotional learning and things, just working together as a team or collaborating. Are those some of the lessons? I always describe from an employer perspective, soft skills of just working together as a team. But you guys, it's more from a perspective of giving them the tools to be successful in life, right?
100%. Self-esteem, self-confidence, behavioral sort of, working on their behaviors, their, regulating their emotions, and doing so in a very supportive environment. We have about 25 summer staff that are there working with the guys. We have a small session of 42 boys. We do 2 sessions each summer. So there's a lot of attention from these trusted adults to be able to work with these guys closely when they are building these skills, like you said, in social and emotional learning, kind of focusing on their mental health. so that when they get back to their home and their school communities, they can get a little bit of a boost and do a little bit better in these areas at home and at school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So a lot of these, we're talking about summer experiences. What's some of the year-round? This could be for anyone. What are some of the, because I think I had seen on the site that year-round, it doesn't just stop when the summer's over in terms of the support provided, right?
Yeah, that's a special sauce of Mayhew. You know, there are a number of camps across the United States that do the summer experience, but what makes us so special, and one of the few programs in the nation, and the only one in New Hampshire, is we have this community year experience where our outreach workers, who are also the counselors at camp, meet with our kids about once a month just to check in and see how they're doing. These activities include something as simple as going for a walk, or maybe going fishing, or going skiing at McIntyre Ski Area. We partner with a lot of organizations in New Hampshire that provide funding for our boys. As the boys get older, we do a lot of preparedness for their post-high school life. And that is really the special part of it, because we're able to check in with our kids face to face.
Yeah, because I could imagine where, you know, and because we do our own summer programming from like a videography standpoint, but then sometimes you lose contact the rest of the year. You come back in the summer, and sometimes it's hard to pick up momentum. Or so for you guys to be able to maintain that contact year round, I think is, you said that's the secret sauce or whatever. I mean, that's literally the way that you can build those partnerships and connections year after year after year, right? Now, what's the age group for the boys that are part of this program, age range?
So the boys start at 10 or 11, and you know, they go through the program as a whole. Is their first summer is on island at the camp. They have that community year mentoring aspect, and then they do a second summer at the camp, and that's really key for us, because those second year guys really get the opportunity to showcase that leadership and to really, you know, dip into that potential of becoming leaders within the organization. They continue at that point moving forward with the community year all the way through high school graduation. But then in their third, fourth, and fifth summers, there's some different summer opportunities. We do a 5-day trip program where they're doing some hiking and canoeing and camping out. And then guys that are 14 and older, they also have the opportunity to come and work in our kitchen, which is a pretty unique opportunity. And we have a special scholarship fund as well. So everything that they earn a small stipend to work during the summer, but we match that stipend and build this account that they can tap into when they start to go to those kind of post-high school opportunities. And then, like Peter said, when they get into that junior, senior year of high school, it shifts a little bit more as well, where the work becomes a little bit more focused on helping them with that next stage of their life, that young adult stage, which can be challenging for any 18, 19-year-old. So we're really at 16, 17, 18, trying to help them with either, you know, jobs, colleges, military, whatever they feel they're excited about moving forward after their time with Mayhew.
Right. Big difference that you go from being a kid to all of a sudden then thinking about post-high school plans. I mean, for any of us, those are drastic changes that you're going through, considering college or employment or military service.
Yes.
So that's a really crucial part of anyone's life. Now I wanted to pivot over to Laura here, because your kind of bread and butter is all about the community engagement and getting out into the, you know, coming to Concord TV, coming to, I don't know how many other public access shows are part of your guys' circuit. Tell me a little bit about kind of your role in the organization and about the importance of Mayhew being out there, out and about in the community.
Yeah, so we feel that Mayhew is one of the best kept secrets in the state. I've been with Mayhew for a couple months now, and I've had the opportunity to talk to people all over the state, and not many people know about us. And as soon as they do, they might find out that someone in their classroom or maybe one of their neighbors was a Mayhew boy. So we really want everyone to know about us, because we do serve the entire state of New Hampshire.
Yeah, and New Hampshire is a great state because, and we get this in Concord a lot, that there's so many great services available, and sometimes they overlap, or sometimes they're just great to like refer to each other, and that chances are there are organizations here in Concord that either schools, private schools, public schools, that may not know about Mayhew, right? So in concept that for them to just know that this is, to kind of open that door, right, is a huge part of that. And how's it been going so far for kind of making it not as much of a hidden gem as it's been?
We've had the opportunity to speak to many Kiwanis clubs and Rotary clubs and attend some networking events through chambers. So it's been an amazing experience sharing Mayhew's mission.
So that's one shout out we could give is if there's Rotary clubs, Kiwanis clubs interested in having you guys in as guest speakers, that's certainly something you're interested in doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to add something
Sure.
that you brought up. Mayhew is one of the organizations that make up the fabric of organizations that support kids in New Hampshire. And one of the great things about our state is that because of the state that we're in, these organizations have risen up very organically to fill some gaps that really make this a really special place to live and to work. So we're very proud to be part of that entire network of organizations. And since 1969, we've served close to 2,400 different boys and their families. And that's just a huge impact for us. And we're only successful because of the network of organizations that we work with.
Yeah, it's crucial. Now, I'll open this up for all three of you, but have there been instances during your time with Mayhew that, I always ask this of nonprofits, like what are some examples of kind of that aha moment or that passion moment, that you can turn back to and go, that's why I do this? Are there any moments? I know we didn't talk about this before the show, but I love to talk to nonprofits about those like sparks of inspiration of why you do what you do.
I think for me, when I started with Mayhew, I started as a summer camp counselor. That was why I was, that's why I got to New Hampshire. That's how I started with Mayhew. And midway through that summer, they offered me full-time work as the outreach worker in the Monadnock region, and it's built from there. But I share that because if you can come out to the island and visit camp during the summer, I think that to me is living and working in this community. And really a community where we're all trying to support each other to be the best we can possibly be. It's just palpable. Just kind of being out there day in and day out and interacting with the guys and seeing the joy on their faces when they finally find success with something that was challenging them, or just the more difficult moments where they're really trying to figure out how to get along better with a cabin mate. It might not be the prettiest thing, but they're still working through that. That to me was the aha moment. I was out there for just a couple weeks and I knew how impactful and powerful this organization was. And I'm not consecutively, but I've been working for Mayhew for 15 years, and I think it comes back to just that island experience and the great things that happen out there during the camp. The organization as a whole is great, but when you talk about that aha moment, man, just seeing the island, it's going to be amazing. And like Peter and Laura said, they actually haven't seen the island yet. They're so new with Mayhew, so I'm excited for even them to see the island this summer. But we run tours throughout the summer, and just being able to come out and see it in action is super powerful.
Wow. Yeah. What do you guys think? You must be excited to go to see the island as well. But what do you think in terms of kind of that passion point?
Yeah, that passion point for me. So I had the chance to go to the island before I officially started my work.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've had plenty of moments on the island, like Greg, seeing these boys being themselves in a super super safe place. But my Mayhew moment is when I went on a community year visit with one of our outreach workers, and we were fishing. That was our activity. So we had 3 boys together. We're in front of the lake. We've set up a little camp stove. We're making quesadillas, having hot chocolate. It's the early winter. It's getting really cold. And we went fishing. And for one of the boys, it was their first time catching a fish.
Wow.
And there is this magical moment when you get a fish on the hook. And I want to state for the record, it was catch and release.
Okay, good. Yeah.
But it's that moment when a kid casts the rod themselves, they hook a fish, and there's that energy on the rod. And for this particular young man, he doesn't live with his parents. He is at the federal poverty line. There's a history of incarceration in his family. This kid, for him to have that experience, that was an aha moment for me to say, wow, I really get why we're doing what we're doing. Because he never would have had that opportunity without Mayhew.
There's your Mayhew moment. I like that.
Yeah.
And with me, I taught for 18 years and I taught a lot of at-risk boys. And this is definitely a program that I was drawn to because these boys need this more than ever. And my Mayhew moment is reaching out to some of the alumni and hearing their stories about how Mayhew changed their life, how it helped them find their career path, how they didn't have a father, so our mentors were their role model. And then also how Mayhew helped them become the father that they didn't know they could be.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, what can the community do, having heard all this, learning more about Mayhew? What are some examples of things that community members, we mentioned referrals, so maybe we could talk about that again, referring boys to the program. But what are some other things that community members or community organizations could do to help fill in the gaps or help you guys as an organization thrive and grow?
Well, we definitely need volunteers. We have volunteers in May to help us open up the camp, and then volunteers in September to help close down the camp. We also have postcard pals, where we want all the boys to get mail throughout the summer, so you can sign up, get a boy, and kind of be a pen pal for the entire summer. We also do the New Hampshire Marathon, where the proceeds go to 3 nonprofits, one of us being one of them, and they can volunteer with us there. Island tours, like Greg mentioned, and then just getting out in the community to speak to people so they hear about the great work going on.
Awesome.
I'll add 2 things also. I think first, we take most of our referrals from the elementary school counselors throughout the state, but there is a form on our website, and so if someone knows a 10 or 11-year-old and they think they might be a good match for Mayhew, there's a form to fill out on our website. And then the second piece is we are almost fully funded through private donations. And so we need to raise close to $1 million a year to make us work in our budget, and we rely on the generosity of the community. We don't take any state funding. We take very little federal funding just from the USDA for our food. So we are dependent on the community, and we've been lucky so far since 1969 that the public has come forward to make donations. So we're always looking for donations.
Yeah, generosity of the community. And that website is mayhew.org, I believe, right? So
mayhew.org.
I love an easy website. Don't have to go through all the different letters and everything. Simple, easy to remember. Yeah. Any other thoughts of way the community can help out?
No, I think they did a
hit the nail
great
on
job.
the head.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So definitely we hope people hearing will consider supporting Mayhew and the incredible work that you guys are doing. I'll have to stop up for an island tour at some point. I'd love to see it. The pictures we're showing in this episode at least help with a visual, seeing what it looks like. It helps. But I think seeing it in person would definitely be like the best way to experience it. And who doesn't love Newfound Lake too? I mean, what a beautiful part of New Hampshire. Are there any other thoughts you guys have of something you wanted to share with the Concord community while you're here about the Mayhew program? I appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, I'll share one. So currently right now we serve about 35 families from the Concord area. And historically we have served close to 200 families since 1969. So we've had a great presence here in Concord. We continue to do and be part of that community feel for Concord. It's a very important part of our community. I think for me, I will speak for me, but I think for the 3 of us, we choose to work with teenagers because this is the most impactful time in a human being's life. And so the work that we do, we think is very special. And we hope the folks out there can see how important it is for the strength of our community to work with our teenagers and to believe in them before they believe in themselves.
That's great. Very well put. Well, thank you guys for joining the program, for being on Community Conversations. I hope folks will check out mayhew.org to learn more about the Mayhew program and get involved by volunteering or helping make a referral. Or if you're a Rotarian or a Kiwanis member, they're very willing to come and do a presentation for you. So again, thank you guys for coming into under the bright lights of the studio. You guys did a great job. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in. We've had suggestions for our other nonprofits. We try to do this show every other week, and we are looking for future guests for nonprofits or individuals, just great things that are happening for Concord residents and statewide. So thank you for those recommendations. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. And also a special thank you to our team. We have Matt and we have Mike behind the camera. making me look the best they possibly could given the circumstances. And thank you again for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.